this is Chris Blair. I'm coming to you guys from all the way across the world. Those who don't know me, I've been living in Japan for like 20 some years. I also lived in Taiwan for a year, and I spent a lot of time in China pre-business. Basically, I'm expat living abroad permanently. I'm a permanent resident of Japan. I have an apartment in Tokyo and Kyoto. I'm coming to you from my apartment in Kyoto right now. It's 10 a.m. here. I know in America or at least on the East Coast, it's 8 p.m. Eastern. That's me on the screen. And this webinar really is not about me. It's more about CustomCat and how CustomCat can help you guys truly scale your business. I've worked with CustomCat for a long time. I've had many students and people I've worked with work with CustomCat. I have a lot of trust and belief in these guys. Yeah, they offer great things, and they're always improving. They're always striving to improve. And one thing you can tell about a supplier when there are issues, which occasionally there will be, guys. Any supplier you work with, there will be issues. There's no 100%. These guys work their ass off to fix it. So that's the kind of company we want to work with. So this webinar is about them. And so with no further ado, I'll let Alex and Michael take over. Go for it, guys. I'm going to mute myself. I'll pipe in with any questions or comments as we go.
Thanks, Chris. Thank you very much. I am Mike Blotkamp with CustomCat. Sitting to my right is Mr. Alex Phillips.
Hey, everybody.
Thank you for joining us. Ooh, I wish there was a soundbite for cheers. Woo. Hey, Chris, thanks for having us. You were on my map way back about 5-6 years ago when you had a nice little store going and you decided to switch niches to a beer store. And in like 3 months, I just was blown away by how many sales you got in a brand new launch. And good job. And thank you for training so many good students and just sellers, whether they're new or they're looking to raise their game. You've done a great job bringing sellers to increase their sales. And that's why we're here together, because it's all about growing the business, right? Tonight we're going to do a little, yeah, right. We're going to start tonight with just a little backstory of why CustomCat's here, a state of the union of where we are now. We're going to talk about the new things that we're doing for 2021 and then open it up to some questions. So I'm excited about it. CustomCat, you ready, Alex?
I'm ready.
We started off as screen printers, right? We started off screen printing back like in 2000, working with schools. We had one product, 7 total SKUs, 7 colors, and worked with high schools. And that brought us a relationship with the booster clubs, which evolved into doing spirit wear clothing with them. We were CAD cut, heat pressing with real simple designs. And through a software that we built, it was able to automate that one-off production through direct-to-garment printing. And over the time, we added embroidery, sublimation, cut and sew. But really, I think what separates us from other POD companies is our software that really runs the whole show. We try to limit any human decision making and let the barcode and the work behind the scenes do the job for us. So here we are, 2021 already. Excited for a different year than 2020 for a lot of different reasons. But overall, I think 2020 was good for the POD market. Chris, wouldn't you agree? Alex, wouldn't you agree?
Oh yeah, I mean, we've seen some extreme difficulties in dealing with COVID, with supply chain issues, with worrying about the health of our employees, being part of a manufacturing company, and we really bound together and we got through it. We saw some of the quickest, craziest scaling that we've ever seen in the May, June, July. It was just something that we've never seen before. Something that we barely even did the same amount of volume during Q4. So it was a complete roller coaster of a year.
With trying to get personnel in there, which I'm sure everybody dealt with too, right?
But, all in all, we got through it and we had a very, very successful Q4. All the processes that we put in place seemed to have a great effect on our turnaround times. And so all in all, it was a pretty good year. And so this year is going to be something different.
Yeah, I'm excited for this year. I think it's going to pick up on the momentum, and a lot of people are accustomed to ordering online, and they're just going to continue to do it. I'm expecting a lot of growth across all avenues for the whole POD market in general.
Yeah, actually, let me comment on that, guys. Last year, I mean, because of the pandemic and the whole situation, the lockdowns and shutdowns, millions of people, and please forgive my phrasing, but this is the best way to describe it. They lost their online shopping virginity, and they had a good experience with shopping. They purchased, they were happy, they got their product, and they will buy over and over again.
That's a good way to put it. Like my grandma, for instance, she was always a retail shopper. She liked to go in and buy stuff from the mall, and with her age, and not being able to go to the mall, she became a big Amazon consumer, and so that was the first time she ever bought anything online. So yeah, I mean, it's real. There's a lot more consumers buying online, and it's going to continue to grow. So
especially with the new generation coming up, the younger kids, they're more likely to buy online too. Absolutely. Tonight, I want to talk about starting direct to garment printing. I think that's probably the biggest thing that is important to our market, the t-shirts and the print quality. Not just the speed, it's the quality. That really is the most important thing. I'm happy to say the most relevant move we made in the last 2 months, I think, is hiring 2 full-time engineers who are now going to be overseeing and owning our whole entire DTG division. Alex, these guys are great, right?
Yeah, they come from, we're in Detroit, we're in the automotive capital of the world, and they come from an automotive background, so they're very, very attuned to running these giant mega facilities and Six Sigma, and just they have a completely different way of viewing manufacturing compared to what we are in our background. So it's definitely a huge help. Real quick, I just wanted to say, Chris, can we make sure that everyone can hear us? We haven't really asked if the audience can hear us here.
That's a good question. I am assuming they can. Can you guys just chat in? You can hear us? Can you just chat into the question box so you can hear us? I believe you guys can. Usually they'll comment if they can't hear you. So.
Right. There's quite a bit of people on here, so yes. Okay, cool. Thank you, Jesse.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's nice having a set of fresh eyes in here, with looking at it different than how we've been looking at it, and reevaluating processes, and just a fresh approach from the ground up. The first thing that they're thinking is the equipment. If the equipment is running at 100%, then the product's going to come out at 100%. And of course, that's what we always want to do. But with 29 machines, there's so many variables in direct to garment printing with all the different print heads. And what we did is we scaled back some of our equipment, and anything that wasn't running at 100% was put aside. And right now, during these months, we're not doing Christmas volume, so it gave us the ability to shut down the machines and really focus on which ones aren't at their peak and why not, and make sure that 100% of the time they're putting out the best print possible. We're looking at the pre-treatment. DTG is so interesting because there's so many variables that go down to it. Different materials and weaves need a different pre-treatment to really bring out the sweet spot in the print. And if you put down too much pre-treatment, you're going to get a great print, but it's going to be stiff. And if you put down too little pre-treatment, it's not enough. And different,
it's going to wash out.
yeah, and it'll wash out too. Absolutely. Different materials require different pre-treatment. So that's where they really started. And a lot of the stuff that we had was already just right where it's supposed to be. But there were some products that we had to tweak a little bit in some colors. And I think that that was a good foundation, that with the base, no pun intended, the underlay that goes down on every print before the actual colors go on to the design, there's a white base that goes on. So that white pure ink is instrumentally important to make sure that the colors on top pop. So it's been fun watching the new DTG managers, we'll call them, really take control of it. And the prints that I'm seeing over the last 5 weeks have just been consistent. I mean, great prints have been coming out for a long time, but there's a reason why the replacement rate is like at 2%, because you could do 10 prints, but then maybe one's not going to work because the nozzle needs some attention. So it's not just down to relying on our QC people to catch that internally. It's making sure the equipment is right where it needs to be. So I think that's what I'm most excited about is, and I think people who have been watching us have seen the DTG. It's the prints are really, really looking good across all facets of the colors.
Yeah, we're dialing it in. It's that time of the year where the volume's much lower. It gives us a chance to really, really dig into the machines and figure out, what are the problem SKUs? Why are there problems? And do we need to get new equipment, or do we need to, discontinue a SKU that's not printing properly? Those are decisions that we need to make this time of year. And those are the decisions we're making. So we're excited, and you should be able to see the quality improve, vastly, and we should be getting a lot of consistency out of our DTG moving forward. So that is something definitely to pay attention to and to look forward to.
Yeah, DTG is really important, so I wanted to touch on that first. I'm excited for questions and answers later on in the program, everybody joining us, and thank you. Next, I wanted to move on to what's happening in 2021.
Sure. Do you want us to keep going with products, Mike? Do you want to talk about some of the top sellers and what we're doing there?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of the folks I recognize here have been with us for a long time, and some I don't recognize here looking at the names. But you've noticed that it's an evolution with CustomCat. In the last few months, we're trying to do better correspondence and engagement with our partners. You'll notice that every week you'll get an update now of the average fulfillment times, which is really helpful, not just during the holidays, but really to gauge how you can set your customers' expectations. I'm real happy with Sarah and Becca and everybody at the marketing and support team who's been helping just give the tools that we all need to be successful at what we're doing here and what we're putting our time and heart and our passion into every day. I hope everybody's liking the updates. I'm liking to see the fulfillment times being an average about 1.5 day, which is phenomenal.
Guys, I want to come in here. One, first of all, thank you. Those updates are awesome. I mean, they really are. And the other thing is, guys, just in general, I mean, one of the reasons why I love and have a lot of respect for CustomCat is the speed in which they get the product out. I mean, obviously there's some specialty products, but if you sell stuff like t-shirts, mug cups and stuff, the standard fare stuff, it comes out. So if I've seen shirts for myself and coaching students that literally come out the same day the order is placed. If it's placed in the morning US time, it's shipped that late afternoon. It's unbelievable. Or the next day. It's incredible. Now, some of the other stuff takes a little longer because they don't produce it as much and or as often, right? But anyway, still, if you compare to other suppliers in the marketplace, the service when it comes to speed of delivery that CustomCat offers is is incredible.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. And I'm sure that you're noticing this too, because you've been working with us for like 7 years now. So, you know, I would say that like when we first started, some of our competitors were like Teespring, where the model was completely different, where, you know, it was like you wouldn't even get product shipped for like a month. But, you know, and back then we were shipping products in like 3 to 5 days, and that was game changing. Now it's completely different. It's like with Amazon and with Etsy and you know, Walmart and all of these online marketplaces, the expectation is to, you know, have product in hand, so delivered within a week. So we're really pushing the limits of print on demand, and we're trying to keep that turnaround time, you know, below 2 days, which, you know, as you can see, when we try and scale during Q4, the production times are definitely going to start lagging a bit. But for the most part, throughout the year, we're keeping our average down, you know, right around a day. So yeah, it's something that I've loved to see improve over the years. So yeah, that's awesome to see you point that out. I'd say like the two pieces of feedback that we find most, I guess that most of our sellers find important are production time and quality. And so that's really, really what we're trying to focus on. You know, as you can see, a lot of the changes with the maintenance, it's all for quality. And then, you know, just our processes in general, we're trying to be able to keep up with this 2-day average. So, you know, that's the expectation.
Aiden, the reality lately, fortunately,
Yeah.
it hasn't always been like that.
So that's awesome.
Yeah. So things are fun over here at CustomCat. I hope everybody on the webinar and working your e-commerce journey, I hope you guys are having as much fun as we are. Not every day is a rose parade, but for the most part, I'm pretty happy with who we're working with and the results that we're getting from our partners, and hopefully everybody's happy with what we're doing. There's a lot to come here in 2021. Alex?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm looking over our top sellers right now, and I'm just thinking about it. And one thing that's interesting to note is if you look through this list of products, you know, there's obviously, depending on your niche, there's going to be different products that work. But some of these products are lower value items like mugs and face masks. They're selling for, you know, and t-shirts are selling for a lot lower than something like a canvas. So seeing something like canvas in the top 10, you know, that's a very, very high quality, high ticket value product. I see people that are retailing, you know, some of our canvas for over $100, and so there's a lot of profit there. So seeing that in the top 10 to me, based on volume, it's really impressive. There's a lot of margin to be had in canvas. Again, it's something that works better in certain niches than it does in others. But I would say that's a product definitely to keep on your radar. And Chris, like you were saying, you know, we have certain products that we ship super fast, like mugs and t-shirts traditionally, because we've just been we've really got it down. I'll tell you what, canvas is something that in the past we didn't have it dialed in so that we could really keep shipping things same day or within 2 days. Now, with some of the changes we've made, some of the new equipment that we've purchased, we are shipping our canvas in, you know, in 1 day. I've seen same day or 2 days we're shipping canvas, which is something that's pretty cool. So just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, blankets too. It's fun walking through the shop, seeing just mountains of blankets. You know, they're girls holding them tight on each end, all the reps, they putting it through the printer. A lot of blankets. It's not easy to do canvas and blankets because you have to do the art guidelines correctly, or at least study up a little bit so you know what you're doing. But the people who are putting the work in with blankets and canvas, I got to say, I'm watching a lot of stuff scale, and we're super busy in those, which is a lot of fun to see.
Yeah. Cool. So what else is new? Now, moving on from products, I mean, we have some interesting products coming down in the pipeline here. We've been focusing more on optimizing the products that we have in our catalog. We already have 300 products in our catalog and, you know, the 12,000 SKUs. So like we mentioned with DTG, we're trying to optimize and get the best quality and the best speed out of what we already offer. But we do have some very cool products in the pipeline that we, you know, based on our research, we're seeing that there's a lot of demand for them. And so I don't want to completely let the cat out of the bag and let everybody know what's coming. But if you pay attention closely in this webinar, you might get some clues as to what's coming next. I hope I'm
Can you give us at least one teaser or two? That would be...
Yeah, we can give some teasers of what's coming, but but we'll get there a little bit later.
Yeah, I understand you don't want your competitors to know so far in advance. I get
Right. I'm just gonna come out and say it. The next product that we're doing is pillows.
Pillows,
A lot of people,
nice.
Yeah.
There's a big market for pillows. I can tell you right now. I know some stores that are selling a lot of pillows. They're importing them from China. Pretty much supply come from China. Pillows are definitely a good market.
Yeah, we know some sellers that are just absolutely crushing it with pillows, and they're, you know, I know a guy that's selling, you know, 500 pillows a day right now, and, you know, during Q4 he was selling 1,000 pillows a day, and it's just, I mean, so there's a lot there. You know, again, it's one of those things where there's a bunch of niches that are more open to that type of a product, but that's what we're looking at. You know, you see the mugs, you see the canvas and the blankets. The home decor type products are they're really hot, and it really wasn't something that was available in print on demand for, you know, for many years. So, you know, the consumers are just now seeing these unique designs that they didn't have access to in the past. So it's something that's hot. It's different. It's different than selling a t-shirt. You know, they're higher ticket values. The price point, you know, you have to pay more for the product, but it's, you know, you make a sale and, you know, you sell it for more. It's a higher ticket. It's a higher ticket item. So, I mean, Chris, you can probably touch on that a lot better than I ever could about trying to advertise higher ticket items. But it's definitely something that we're seeing success from.
As far as high ticket items, I mean, I've worked with a lot of different sellers and different niches over the years, as you guys know. It really is niche specific. There's some niches where people will spend $100, $200, even $300, even $400 on an impulse purchase from an ad on Facebook. And there's some niches where they just won't do that. So the way you get them to sell those high ticket items is you bring them into your customer base through a low ticket item like a mug, a t-shirt, or whatever, right? And then once they bought from you and you know they get a great delivery from CustomCat and they're happy and so on and so forth, then you hit them with an email saying, hey, we also have canvases for $125 and we'll give you a $10 coupon off you buy today, and they will buy. So there's two ways to sell high ticket items, but yeah, you can sell high ticket items both on straight from ads if you have the right niche, but you can definitely do it from the inbox once you have them, once they bought from you once.
I love it. Great insight. Yeah, we're really excited. We're still a few weeks out, but we will definitely have these pillows launched, you know, with plenty of time to scale for Mother's Day. So expect that. They're extremely high quality, and it's something that we'll be able to scale. So, man, I'm really excited about it. Mike, for the record, Mike's the one who let the cat out of the bag.
Well, here's the deal. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in the hopper. There's always a lot of stuff in the hopper, but it's just irresponsible to say that we're going to do this until you have the art guidelines and the equipment and it's here and the product. I mean, there's a lot of stuff we wanted to launch that at the last minute we couldn't do for whatever reason. So I'm feeling confident about the pillows. You know, I'm looking at like a 3-week window, 4-week window until it's go time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm comfortable saying the pillows are next. A lot of other stuff that we're getting feedback from our partners. The other day we put the what do you guys want? What does everybody want to CustomCat to offer this year? And we got incredible feedback. A lot of stuff we hear about, like the tumblers and
Well, yeah, well, the thing is that you have to understand when we do these types of polls is that if it's equipment, if we have the equipment that we can already produce the product, it's a lot easier to add than if we have to go buy a $250,000, we have to go invest in a machine and then go build out a process that we've never done before. It's a much bigger process than if we already have the printer and we already have the press, or we already, we're doing a similar type of a product. So yeah, so some products are definitely easier for us to plug in.
Or if we already built the cut and sew division. There I go again.
Yeah, so I mean, that's kind of the gist of it is, I mean, if the demand's there, we're probably going to go in that direction. We like to think of our production facility as plug and play, as if we've already built the automation from order on your screen to print. So all we really need to do is invest in the equipment, and we can build out and scale that type of decoration. So I mean, that's our philosophy. So as long as the demand's there, it's something that we're interested in doing.
But by the way, we are going to open up and answer questions. So feel free to start typing them in to the question box, and they can view it and I can view it, and we will get to that eventually.
Yeah, I'm looking at them. So bring it. So yeah, I guess the next thing that's up then is let's move on from products for now, and then we'll take a bunch of questions and we can, we'll start some conversations there. But let's move over to the app, because I do want to bring up a few things that we've done this year that we really haven't had a chance to review and that we're still optimizing. And then I guess some of the things that we're planning to do in the future. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you this slide here. And this is our current integrations. So we've always had our Shopify integration. That was the first one that we started with. It's still our most popular integration. We've had WooCommerce for a very long time as well. WooCommerce it's a little bit more complicated than a Shopify site, but there's a lot of sellers that do choose to use WooCommerce. I'm going to skip down to Etsy, which was the next integration that we launched, which is a little bit different because with Etsy's a marketplace. So it's our first marketplace integration. And that's where we really we're seeing a lot of growth. What's so great about Etsy, as I'm sure everybody knows, is it's passive income. You don't have to, to invest in Facebook advertising and really, really pushing hard on these products in order to make some sort of a profit. So what we've seen with Etsy is we see a lot of people who are very successful with their brand selling on, selling with a Shopify store or WooCommerce store or a BigCommerce store and advertising on Facebook, but they'll launch some of their newer designs or new concepts on their Etsy store. They'll get some traction, and then they'll realize, wow, maybe this is something that I can put some money behind and really scale on Facebook with my, with my brand on Shopify. Again, probably something that Chris can really touch on a lot better than I can, but we're really, really excited about this Etsy integration, and it's, we're watching it grow, and we're really getting some good feedback about the turn times, which are really important in our product depth. Etsy doesn't have access to all of the print-on-demand, products that we have in our catalog, so something to pay attention to.
This is not really. It's not really a training, but since you're commenting on Etsy, let me just give people a couple free nuggets.
I love gold nuggets.
You took the hint.
Do a mini training here. Okay, so with Etsy, one of the biggest mistakes people make with Etsy, and I made this mistake when I first started Etsy too, is I took a bunch of products, we just loaded them on there, in a couple days, 50 some products, and didn't work. And then I started talking to people who I know who are really good at Etsy, like Fernando and a few other people. And one thing I learned is Etsy likes to see regular activity on your store, on your Etsy platform, your site for Etsy, your Etsy store, whatever you want to call it. So you're better off doing 2 products today, 2 products tomorrow, 2 the next day, 2 the next day, and just be consistently adding stuff daily, and they will put your overall ranking will go up with Etsy. So that's one key thing that the mistake that I made and a lot of other people make, right? So instead of just like throwing bunch of shit on there at one time, do it slowly, drip feed it. Okay. The other thing is what Alex said is about, you know, taking a product off of Etsy and then trying to sell it. And I've seen this for people on Amazon. I've had people come from over from Amazon and try to sell through Facebook ads. It's a different type of shopper. Sometimes the product that sells on Etsy or Amazon will work, but you got to understand it's a different type of shopper. I mean, the people who go to Etsy or Amazon, they're what we call intent buyers. So the people who go into Google and they'll search for like beer t-shirts, right? These people are going to shop around and look for different stuff, and they're going to compare. And so a product might be found and sell well on Etsy, but when you take it onto a platform like Facebook advertising or Pinterest advertising or Instagram advertising, you're doing what's called interruption marketing. You're literally interrupting people's day and saying, hey, go buy this, okay? Now, paid advertising is great for scaling. I mean, you could scale from, and I think Michael and Alice can attest to this because, you know, they've seen some of my student results from there's a guy on this call right now, Tracy, who's doing, you know, he went from like 20 sales a day to 100 sales a day, and that can happen almost overnight with paid ads because you can spend a lot of money with ads. But there's one thing that's really important though, is you got to understand that people who get their day interrupted with an ad for a product may not necessarily take the same reaction as someone who goes and buys it on Etsy or Amazon. So it doesn't always correlate that a product will sell on Etsy or sell on Amazon, and it will definitely sell through paid ads. I hope that was too much information.
No, that's great. Yeah, that's great. I never really thought about that too. That's good advice, Chris. That's good advice. Where Alex was going was the next after the Etsy is the BigCommerce. BigCommerce we're excited about. A lot of people are enjoying the BigCommerce platform. It's kind of in my opinion, it's a hybrid between WooCommerce and Shopify.
It's interesting. You know, there really isn't as many what I would call internet marketers using BigCommerce yet. The sellers that I've seen that are successful with BigCommerce, they tend to be actually people who started out in brick and mortar and are transitioning to an e-commerce ecosystem because they're starting to see their sales suffer, especially with COVID. So I've actually made a lot of really good relationships with new sellers that were just crushing it with brick and mortar, and then they had a really good relationship with BigCommerce, and we found each other, and they started using CustomCat and just fell in love with the business model, which is completely different than, you know, ordering up front and stocking your brick and mortar store and having, you know, people walk back and forth and get into your store and purchase. So BigCommerce it's definitely different than Shopify. I'd say that it's the most similar to Shopify from this list, but they do have a little bit more API type functionalities. They have a little bit more support if you're like an enterprise seller, somebody that I would say a company that has a lot of money to spend on merch, or just like the idea of building a merch program, and you want a team to help you. BigCommerce is the right person for you. So it's a little bit different than our normal audience, but it's something that we see. We see potential with BigCommerce, and they're willing to work with us and to do some co-marketing with us and whatnot. So it's something that we built. It works. I mean, it's completely identical to our Shopify integration.
Yeah. I mean,
it's just another option.
Yeah, like in the integration, there was bugs in the beginning, and we've had this for a little bit, but now it's starting to get traction, and it's working great. Everybody who I'm talking to who is using BigCommerce, they're really enjoying it.
Yeah, it's just a little different. So something that if you know, if you're not a Shopify guy and you're looking for a new shopping cart platform, it's definitely something to look into. So that's our newest integration for now.
Shopify is great too. Make no mistake about it. I mean, to each their own. There's options out there, which is nice, right?
Yeah. Well, BigCommerce, just like with Shopify, they have tons of partnerships with you know, like Google Shopping, Amazon, Walmart. They have a bunch of marketplace integrations. So they do some of that work for you if you are, you know, if you're subscribed to them. But again, it's just another option. So
What's created out there, Mr. Phillips?
well, as you can see, we have Amazon and eBay. Again, that is the direction we're moving. The idea of CustomCat is we're the hub that you're going to create your products, and we want you to be able to push your SKUs or push your products to all sorts of different marketplaces. So the Amazon integration, it's something that we've been planning for some years now, and they completely rebuilt their API, and we are now integrating with their new API to create a very seamless experience to load our product mockups and automatically fulfill our products through Amazon. So
yeah,
it's something that's really powerful.
It's exciting, and it's basically the infrastructure, the architecture is already built for our backside, so it's going to be a lot faster to plug into that than Etsy was to build, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's something.
And that Etsy took forever.
Yeah, well, the Etsy API is a pain, but it'll be very similar. You're going to have the same UX. You know, you'll be able to create products and load them to your Amazon store. Amazon has some different policies. You know, there's a bit of a learning curve when it comes to Amazon. I mean, Amazon is massive. Doing, you know, SEO and keyword research, you'll see that, you know, you start looking at keywords, and Amazon product listings, even print-on-demand Amazon listings, are outranking, you know, all sorts of other listings on Google. So it's Amazon's for real, which I'm sure everybody knows, but it's something that we're really excited to tie into. We're going to make that experience seamless, so you don't have to make a bunch of workarounds to try and load your products on Amazon. So that's something that we're really excited about. It, you know, takes a little bit of thought to get it right, but we feel like our program fits great with Amazon. Again, being that if you want to be a competitive seller, you need to be fulfilling your products within a day or two. Otherwise, you're going to have some issues. So something that's very important to us, that when we launch, you know, an integration like Amazon that we're promoting, that we're saying that you should be doing this, we need to make sure that our fulfillment can keep up to their, you know, their demand. So
yeah, I'm excited for this year. I can kind of see it out in front of me. I hope everything goes according to what we're thinking it will, which I think it will so far. There's been some good questions in here that I want to touch base on. One of them is inventory. You know, what can we do to help keep our stock for the inventory? And, you know, one thing I can say is I'm seeing a lot of replenishment for stuff that's been out of stock now that all those ports, I guess, are cleared and the inventory is coming in. So we were always expecting late February, middle of March, and that really is coming, I guess, to fruition again. Happy to see a lot of stock coming back from what it didn't have for a while, and I think it's going to continue over the next couple of weeks. I think there's going to be some styles that didn't sell as well won't be replenishing. Our stocking distributors aren't really forthcoming right now in saying what's being discontinued, probably because they didn't have the regular forecast for the year over what they're going to be bringing in. I mean, Corona did throw a monkey wrench into everything. So I think some items that they don't sell a lot of, they're probably not going to bring back, which won't affect a lot of people. Obviously, the stuff that they sell a lot are going to be coming back, and they are coming back. Stuff that sells a lot sells out the most, hence out of stock. But the restocking for what's selling a lot is coming back. But I think it's going to be interesting this year. I think there's going to be more products that are discontinued this year than in the past. But it's nice when they do discontinue something, they bring a replacement. I think that they're going to be reducing some redundancy, I guess is what my gut is telling me as I'm watching inventory go down and not jumping back up in some SKUs. So
yeah, you know, this is it. Let me take this one, Mike. You know, what's interesting is that these types of questions pretty much are applying to DTG products. And the reason is it comes down to inventory. So when you're working with DTG products, or we'll call them apparel products, you're talking about one product that has X amount of colors. You know, say it has 10 colors and say it has 5 sizes. So we're talking about, what is that, 50 SKUs?
Yeah.
I can still do math. It's yeah, and so the thing is you've got 50 SKUs per product. So a lot of the times it's not the whole product that goes out of stock. We're talking about one size, one color. And we are still, you know, we don't private label all of these products. These are products that we're buying from manufacturers. So when the manufacturer goes out of stock, or they stop selling the stock to the distributors, we can't get it anymore. So once it's out of stock, there's nothing we can really do about it. So let me get to the question. And Jesse, I think this is a really good point that you brought up. What are our plans to improve the out of stock experience? So, you know, now, you know, I'm sure that all of you understand, if we can't get the stock, we can't get the stock. So what can we do to improve the experience? So the ideas that are getting put onto the table are something that we can do with our software that would deal with remapping the SKUs. So the idea is that we'll build a feature that you can say, okay, if a product is out of stock, it goes into the error queue and it gives you the opportunity to change the size or color. So the idea is that we'll give you the ability to remap your SKU that's out of stock or discontinued to a product that we do have in our catalog that's available. So that way you'll still be able to make a decision if you want to fulfill that product. So that's something that we're looking into and that we think that we can build within our platform. It's something that, you know, we need to make sure that it's user friendly. It doesn't work with all products. There's some products that don't have a comparable that, you know, so we have to figure out how that UX is going to work. But we have, you know, full intentions of improving the out of stock experience. So that's a really good question. And with that, I will pivot to our app and give you a quick demo of some of the stuff we are building right now. It seems like everybody on the call is somebody who's using our app pretty frequently. I'm recognizing a lot of the names here. So this experience should be pretty familiar to you. And what you can see is, you know, one of the things that we added was our place an order feature. So we gave the ability to place a manual order. It's one of those things that's great for, it's for new sellers. If you want to place a sample, it's awesome. But also, if you're doing any sort of customization or something that you can't get fulfilled through your app integration, you can always come in and you can place a manual order. So that was one of the things that we built this year that's been very successful. So that's something that we're still working on and we're working on improving. Something that we're in the process of launching, you'll see this orders tab in the left navigation. So we're going to make it a lot easier to find your orders. we're going to consolidate all of your orders into one list so that you can easily access them from the left navigation. You'll be able to choose from all of your store integrations and just pivot back and forth between them. You'll see the tabs for your error queue, your order queue, and your processed order, so you can easily navigate back and forth from. And a lot of the excitement that we're getting from here is we're building a self-service system.
Which I'm really excited about too. I love the sneak peek.
It's a little bit of a sneak peek here, but what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to submit your replacements and your customer service tickets through the app, and we'll be able to respond to them through the app as opposed to having to send a separate ticket, which will be very cool. There's a lot more coming with this, but just a quick sneak peek.
A little DIY replacement, order help, order change, address change, a lot of stuff, you know, change an address on an order that's already in. We didn't want to do it because of the AVS. If a bad address is changed while it's already processed and the address doesn't jive with the computers, when we print the label, it stops, you can call it the conveyor belts from running. So a lot of these changes in the order dashboard, I'm super excited about. There's going to be an evolution of it, and what you see right there might not be exactly what the final product is, but a lot of self-help, easier. I'm sure a lot of frustration that all of our marketing partners have is dealing with customer issues, obviously. So to make it as easy as possible for you to go in and put the replacement in and upload a picture and not have to deal with back and forth from our support team, I think is going to be huge for 2021, which will really pay the dividends, you know, come end of the year, holiday season.
Cool. All right, well, we're getting short on time here, so let's make sure we address everybody's questions. So let's kind of just go down the list here.
Eligible for Prime, that's MJ.
That's a good question. With Amazon, would we be eligible for Prime? Would we be FBM? Yes, you'd definitely be FBM for sure. It's fulfilled by merchant. You know, we've tested some FBA. We've tried FBA a bit with some select sellers, and we found that it just wasn't something that fit in with our automation, and it's not something that we want to build into our program. So it would definitely be an FBM, fulfilled by merchant program. Would we be eligible for Prime? I think that this is something I'm talking a little bit out of school here. I think you can be eligible for Prime with FBM, but I believe that there are steps that need to be, steps that need to be taken in order to get that eligibility. So I am not sure about that. Jesse, just more feedback on the out-of-stocks. Even just providing a matrix of available sizes and colors in the same garment would be huge help. Yeah, so that's the other thing I didn't actually mention about the out-of-stock. So I think the ultimate fix is going to be the allowing to remap SKUs within the app. I think that's going to be huge. But with out-of-stocks, we do have a few other concepts as well. We're building a better notification system that it'll let you know right in the app. You'll get like a push notification that'll tell you when something's out of stock, when something's in stock, and then we plan to have like a master list of products that tell you the stock availability that you have access to right in the app. So that way you don't have to email customer service and check in and ask us, because if you think about it, it's just more workload on us. If you're asking us what the out of stocks are, we have to go and look it up. So the idea is that we're just going to use the API to just provide that stock status as a tool right in the app. So that's something to definitely look forward to. What else we got here?
Tracy asked a question about the order number being on the ticket. And Tracy, I'll reroute back with you. Good to see you here, my friend.
Yeah, we'll do that. That's easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you must have talked to somebody already in
No,
our group, because that's on my list already to get done, which is easy enough. So yes, we will put the order number in the in the subject line of the ticket, which will make that a lot easier. A lot easier for us too.
Yeah. And thank you everybody for the engagement, the feedback, the suggestions. We are always evolving, and it's because of the feedback and the demands that you're giving us. So it's nice that we have the platforms like the Facebook group and personal emails and the ticketing system and events like this, so we can talk to each other. We need each other to perform at the best for us both to grow. So hopefully we'll do a lot more of the events like this coming up.
Mm-hmm. Mock-ups, yep, we're definitely improving mock-ups. We have a pretty good creative guy that you'll see the newest mock-up that's coming in with the pillows is looking badass. And so with that, the way that our software works, we're still dealing with two-dimensional images. So we're a little bit limited, but we are building a system that can handle three-dimensional images, PSD images. So something definitely to look forward to is better mock-ups. It's one of those things that, again, our catalog is so robust that it's a daunting task to go through and just rip through, however many thousands of images to get them on par and offer multiple images with multiple angles. But that's something that we've been talking about for a very long time, and the development is almost caught up to the point that we can start working on it. So we are that's something that we're definitely
I'm having a flashback of 3 years ago, watching a 3D designer watching our products twist, right? And shoot, if we just had 5 or 6 products, it'd be no problem. But you're right, there's just so many variants. I saw a great question here from a Michael, Mr. Mikey. Is there a plan to accommodate bundles? That's such a great question. It's something we've been talking about that's another one that's just been a long time. The thing with us with bundles is there's variants, and each variant is assigned to a product. To have multiple variants assigned to one product, I guess, is the nut to crack. I know that some people are using bundling apps, which is going well.
I was gonna mention that there are some bundling apps you can, if you're on Shopify. I don't know about WooCommerce and BigCommerce. I'm quite impressed with WooCommerce. I'd be surprised if they don't have him. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. There is not a great bundling app out there on Shopify. I've used them. I've had some students use them as well. You're gonna have to do some tweaks. I mean, my coder had to go. I had to get a coder to go in and do some back end coding to make it work the way we wanted to. But it can work. It can do an okay job, but nothing to be excited about.
Yeah, we've kind of seen the same thing. Like most of our clients that are doing like bundling, they're using our API direct. People who are sophisticated and they can pay developers to customize their site, and it is
sophisticated or pay developers.
Yeah, either or. But yeah, no, it's one of those things. It's not an easy thing to do on Shopify. It's something that we, again, it's another feature that we would have to spend dev time on our side. We could duplicate our SKUs and create new SKUs to create bundles. But it's just one of those things that we'd have to dedicate the time to make that happen. So if the demand's there, it's something that we'll look into building. Chris, you used to ask for that all the time. I know that was a big ask for a while, but I'm sure that you eventually ended up finding somebody to build it for you.
Yeah, I really wish I could offer people a great solution for bundling here on this webinar, but I just can't.
Yeah.
I would just use one of the Shopify apps, make do it. It's going to look a little bit ugly. It's not the most beautiful sales page, but it can work. But if you want to make it better, then what you're going to have to do is, hire a coder. Yeah, the good news is Shopify's API is open, and a lot of these apps API is open as well. So the app will get you 80% there, and you can make sales with that. But if you want to get the extra 20% to make it look all beautiful and nice and pretty and increase your conversion rate, then you're going to have to do some tweaking.
Well, right on. This has been fun for me.
Cool. Guys, thank you for being on. Any last comments? I want to thank Michael and Alice for doing this, and for my group, and also posting in your group about it. And there's people on this call, a lot of names that I've never seen before, but a lot of names I do know, so that's awesome. And any last comments, guys? Thanks for everyone being on.
Yeah, Chris, you mentioned something about a replay. That'll be posted out there.
I'll process the replay. Are you gonna post it around your group or maybe mail it out? What, I don't know what you guys' plan is with that, but I will get you the replay.
Yeah, it depends if we want to let everybody know about all the breaking news that Mike broke.
Hey, listen, if it was a video, if it was live video of me, the replay would be going out everywhere.
Sure.
Guys, actually, if you really want to keep that live, that secret, let people who are just on live, I can cut that part out.
Yeah, no, we'll talk about it. Hey, I'm just messing around. It depends. We'll see. Everyone who's on the call, you're lucky what you got to hear then, I guess.
Yeah, keep it to yourself, please.
Let's talk about that offline then, Mike. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I don't care. Thanks, everybody, for joining us tonight. I had a good time. I hope you did too.
All right, I'm going to end the webinar, guys. Thanks for coming, everyone.
All right, brother. Thank you.
Bye.